days of Christmas.
Day 8.
Day 8. Have we 8 done already?
We have 8.
And remember, it's the 20 days of Christmas. It's not just the 12 days of Christmas here at Case Flower School. So every day, over the next 16 days or so that's left, we have a demonstration coming up step by step how to make a completely different style of door wreath each day. And any of the door wreaths that we show you, some of them could also be used as remembrance wreaths. This one probably not. This one is a bit glitzy.
And there's
today.
a few ones that are not door wreaths as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
there was a gorgeous one went up there the other day, how to do a rose hat box. So again, if you go to our YouTube channel, if there's any of them that you've missed, pop over to Case Flower School on YouTube and you'll see like the cover of them says 12 days of Christmas, day 1, day 2, day 3 and so on. And you'll be able to catch up on them all and they're all completely free. And for anybody that is a florist there that's watching, like that rose box that I'm just talking about would be a fabulous one for the likes of Valentine's Day. But also for anyone that wants to see the renewal floral foam being used, it actually is being demonstrated in a compostable flower box and also using the renewal floral foam. I'm going to explain everything that I'm doing here now. Don't worry in case you're saying what you're doing. I'm going to explain it all in detail, but there's a bit of work involved, so I'm just getting a little bit of a head start. So while I'm getting a head start, I need to know who's watching, where are you watching in from, and what's the weather like in your part of the world. So start commenting below. Also, we'd really appreciate if you actually shared this video. So it's all great, us being here, honky-dory, doing free live videos for you every day, you learning absolutely loads, and you're doing feck all for me. So all I'm asking is that you click share it to maybe your own page, share it to your group page, share it to maybe a group that you're in. I'm going to say mother and toddler, or a knit and bitch club. My mum used to be in a knit and bitch club, or a knitting club, a crochet club, a ladies club, your local school club. Just share it out there and help us get the word out.
Geraldine says good afternoon and it's lashing in the west. It's actually a lovely day here.
It's gorgeous here in Dublin. The sun is shining, it's dry, it's not raining. I have to say it's a lovely day in Dublin and it's not too cold out either. And I have the Christmas t-shirt on. So what are we going to need for today's wreath? Always have a notebook and pen ready for all these demonstrations because I'm telling you, there'll be loads that you learn. Now, I'm going to be cutting up more stuff in a minute, just to give this a little bit of a clean off. So the first thing that you need for our door wreath is a pre-made door base. Now, if you want to buy a pre-made, you can get this one here from the likes of O'Neill's Flowers up in Carlingford, County Louth. So O'Neill's
and over
Flowers,
in Galway, Mylands had them as well.
Yeah,
and
yeah, which always better give the Galway ones a little bit of a shout out, all right. So O'Neill's Flowers ship them absolutely worldwide. So whether you're in Europe, you're in the UK, England, Scotland and Wales, if you're in Northern Ireland or the Republic of Ireland, O'Neill's will ship it all over the world. And also, a lot of the other materials that I'm going to show you can also be bought in from O'Neill's. If there's any flower shops watching and you want to buy them in bulk, okay, the best ones on the market is from Irish Green Guys. But between me and you, the ones in O'Neill's are also Irish Green Guys. It's just Irish Green Guys is a wholesaler and you can't buy one off him. You have to buy them in bulk. So if you are a flower shop and you want to buy them in bulk, get in touch with Irish Green Guys based down in Kerry. But if you're just looking for 1 or 2 or 3 to make for yourself or maybe to make as a present for somebody, get in touch with O'Neill's Flowers. But like last week, as you see, we've done the Tour de France, the Tour of Ireland, okay, the west of Ireland, Galway. We were up back roads, down back roads, up back alleys, you name it. We were all over parts of Galway. And we went to amazing garden centres. Now I know we got lots of messages afterwards. You didn't call into our garden centre. The next time, you're on the list, okay, the next time. But we went into Mylands Garden Centre and the lovely Yvonne and John was her husband, wasn't it?
Joe, was it?
Joe or John. Maybe it's Joe she's having the affair with and she's married to John. I can't remember. It's one or the other anyway. But anyway, the lovely Yvonne, they had the pre-made vases for sale. They were for nothing, 10 something or whatever. Great value they were. And they were absolutely fabulous ones. So if you happen to be in Galway or near Mylands Garden Centre, pop in there and you can get your wreath base. And they have a fabulous selection of materials that you can buy as well. But then we left there and we went to Naga's Garden Centre. That was in Headford Road. And that was by Sharon and
Ger.
Sharon and Ger, they were the lovely owners. She wasn't having an affair, she's just married to Ger. That was the end of that. They kept it very simple. And oh my God, talk about the 20,000 steps in their garden centre. It was absolutely huge. And they have the pre-made bases. And they have all the materials that you'll see me using over the 20 days of Christmas also for sale. So there's probably other garden centres, and I know you're probably all screaming at the camera there. Put it in the comments below. Like, that's the thing about us. We don't mind. Tag your own garden centre there below. Put the telephone number.
Or if you're a flower shop selling the bases as well, because there's a
Absolutely.
few of them. I see Alison Floritastic is on there. She's saying good
She
afternoon.
had I would have loved to go to that.
I would have loved to go to her workshop.
That was a very posh workshop.
It was very
last
posh.
night.
And see all the little canopies and everything.
I know, I tell you. So again, if there is anybody watching and you sell pre-made bases, feel free, put your email address, tag your company, tag your garden centre, put your telephone number, or put the directions how people can actually order from you. So what have I got here today? The pre-made base. We have our 20 gauge wires. Now all the little local flower shops, they all sell small bunches of wires. We use quite a lot of wires over Christmas. And make sure that it is the 20 gauge. That's the heavier gauge one. Because if you buy a 22 gauge wire, it won't go through the base. And if you buy a 19 or an 18 gauge wire, you'll struggle to do what I'm doing with them here today. So 20 is absolutely the perfect size. And you can buy them in different lengths. A 12 inch is a good one to buy. Now you get away with 10 inch. But when you're wiring up pine cones, and I'm going to be using pine cones for this one today, you'll find when you're only starting off, a 12 inch is a better one. Now, are you liking the bits of gold that I have? So these are available for sale from Irish Green, guys, if you're buying in bulk and wholesale, or O'Neill's Flowers, where you can buy it in smaller quantities. So the smaller quantity is you get 5 stems of the Leylande. This would be the typical cultures, aren't they? They dry it out, they spray it gold, and they sell it to us dubs. And sure, we would buy that, and that's a bit glitzy, okay? So anybody that's watching there that has dried Leylande in your own garden, okay, get a tin of spray. Oh, the gold one is here. So you get a tin of spray. This is the rose gold, okay? This is another tin of spray which you can buy in your walk around shops. And this one here, this one is from O'Neill's, and I sprayed the cones with this one, and I have to say there was a great coverage with it. So the Oasis is like a brand name that we use in the floral industry. But in saying that, a lot of these sprays that you buy in the walk around shop will do exactly the same job. So if you dry out your own Leylande, and make sure you go outside, okay? Make sure there's no wind. Put a mask on, and I always say put it down into a box and spray down into the box, okay? Because the spray goes everywhere. But if you're buying a lot of it, like I wouldn't be bothered spraying it. I would rather buy it in sprayed already. Plus, I don't have Leylande trees. But that's all it is. It's Leylande trees. What they do is they dip dye it, and every little bit of it is covered. But again, if you want small quantities of it, O'Neill's Flowers in Carlingford, they'll sell you the one bunch. There'll be 5 stems in the one bunch. I have 3 stems cut up, and I have 2 stems left. And then the eucalyptus, the same job. There was 6 stems in the bunch of eucalyptus. Some of them were a little bit fuller than this. Again, if you rewind the video, you'll see me at the beginning when I'm cutting it up, okay? And again, it's just getting the stems, cutting in between, that sort of effect. And you can make as many or as long a stem out of it as you wish. So 6 stems. I'm probably going to use all of the eucalyptus. I won't use all of the Q-Press. But if you have any dried eucalyptus yourself, you can use that as well.
Simon is watching it from Donegal, and he's saying he's loving the gold.
Hi Simon, and huge thanks. It was Simon who offered us the holly.
Oh, right.
So huge thanks, Simon. So Simon here is saying about the holly with the berries and so on. And now he didn't tell us where the secret little place was, but he had a secret little place where he was able to get holly, and he was going to drop it into us in Dublin. So fair play, really appreciate that. Thanks a million. But you can kind of see we're over our berry age now, and now we're moving on to the glitzy end. So if you have any gold Q-Press now, you can drop that into us. So the eucalyptus, it has to be wired. It doesn't have to be. There is other ways of doing it. But to be honest, for anyone that's starting there today, this is probably an easier way to do it. So what I have been doing to the foliages there is I've been bending the wire over and making a little hook at the top of the wire. Hopefully you can see that there. Can you see it?
Just bring it closer to the camera. Yeah. Now they can see it. Yeah.
Okay. So we call that a hairpin bend or a one-legged mount. And as you get more experience, you can make it smaller. And I'm going to cover myself there because there's always a know-all florist watching, and she'll say, oh, that hook is too big. I know it's too big, but there's lots of beginners here, and it's easier for them when I do it big at the beginning. Now I'm right-handed, and remember on the camera you're looking at things backwards, okay? So that's my right hand that I hold the wire with. This is my left hand. So when you go to wire the eucalyptus, a lot of people hold it like that, and your hand keeps getting in the way. Put your left hand on top of the item that you wish to wire. The little hook, that doesn't get hooked around the foliage, it rests on the stem. It can either rest to the front or rest to the back. Makes no difference. If I was doing it, I'd always pull it to the front looking at me, but because you're watching, I'm putting it to my back, the front looking at you. You just pinch it onto the stem there with your left finger, but leaving yourself a bit of the stem sticking out. Hold the wire halfway down. Everybody holds the wire up here. Hold the wire halfway down, bend the wire like a little handle and go around 3 times. A hey, a do, a 3. That was Irish in case you don't know. And straighten the wire back out again. So again, you take up your piece of foliage, you hold your left hand on top. With your right hand, you make the hook at the top of the wire. You place it on the end of the stem, either side. It's not hooked around, it's only placed on it. Squeeze it in, hold the wire halfway down and wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, 3 and straighten back out again.
I just see Mitchell's Flowers in Galway has joined, and she's actually doing the wreath in a box kit. She, if anybody wants to buy the wreath and everything all together.
Did call into her?
No, we didn't get to call.
She makes gorgeous apple tarts.
Yeah.
Could have got a bit of apple tart.
Next time.
Next time we're in Galway. Can't think of your first name. Is it Patricia?
Trisha, I think, isn't it? Yeah,
it's
Trisha.
Thanks a million for joining, and if anybody wants to get a wreath in a box where you can then go and decorate your own wreath, get on to Mitchell's Flowers.
And it's also a great present, so like if you are outside of Ireland and you want to send a present to somebody that they can do themselves, the wreath in a box is a great idea. So check out Mitchell's Flowers in Galway. She posts them nationwide.
Yeah, and she's going to put her phone number and her email address in the comments below. So while we did all that yapping, I have all the eucalyptus wired up, and I have all the gold Q-press wired up. So it's a bunch of eucalyptus and probably half a bunch of the Q-press, okay, wired up. The next thing then is get your cones and spray them gold. So I have most of the cones wired up. I left myself 2 so that I could demonstrate them. Here they are. So how do you wire the pine cone? You get your 20 gauge wire. You fish it in between the petals near the end of the cone, and you leave a little bit of wire sticking out. And as you get more experience, you can leave less wire sticking out. The long piece of wire, you wrap it around the bottom of the cone, in between the petals, till it comes around and it meets the short bit sticking out. And again, I've left it long so you can see it. And you twist them 2 pieces of wire together, once, twice, and stop. Don't keep twisting, there's absolutely no need, and all you're going to do is hurt your own fingers. And that's why I recommend the 12-inch wire, because you use a lot more wire with the pine cones, a lot less wire with the greenery. So again, the wire, in between the petals at the bottom, leave a little bit sticking out, wrap the long bit of wire around the pine cone till it comes to meet the short bit that you left sticking out, and then just twist them 2 bits together, once, twice, and stop. If you keep twisting, you're only going to kind of like tear the skin off your fingers, and then you get blood on the wreath, and then, you know what I mean, people will be giving out and all the rest. So we give this a little bit of a shake off, get all my little bits of rubbish off, and now we're ready to decorate. So again, to go back over the ingredients, a pre-made base, which you can buy in O'Neill's Flowers, a bunch of eucalyptus and a bunch of Q-press, sprayed gold, which you can go and get greenery in your own garden, that's dried, and then sprayed. And by the way, dried means dead. And then spray gold yourself. And I have approximately 20 cones, okay, sprayed gold, and that's all I'm going to use. So, you get your pieces of Q-press. Bring your base over the edge of your table. These are mistakes I see people at their workshops, okay, and they're making it harder for themselves because they're trying to work on that side of the base. Only work on the side of the base that's right beside your stomach, okay? So bring it over, and if they're sitting down, it's a disaster. You need to stand up to do this. Bring it over the edge of the table. You get your wire, you stick the wire down into the base, you position the bit of greenery where you want it to go, and you secure the wire underneath, which I'll show you in a minute, okay? So again, you take up your next bit, you stick it down into the base. Sometimes as that's happening there, you stick it in and you hit a branch, okay? So just poke around till you find a little spot, secure it in place, and bend up the wire underneath. And what I'm doing on the edge of the table here is I'm spinning the frame around like a turntable on the edge of the table. Now when I'm positioning the greenery, sometimes I'm positioning towards the inside of the ring, and other times I'm positioning it towards the outside of the ring. Now that's a mistake that I see people making as well. They only work in the centre of the ring all the time. They don't kind of zigzag it. And it just means that you have all this greenery on the actual base that you buy, but yet all the decorations are only in the middle area. Now I'm going to hold it up now so you can see what's happening underneath. So there is the wire that comes through, and what I'm doing is I'm making a horseshoe or a U-bend, and I'm sticking it back up into the base and securing it in place. Again, bring it over the edge of the table, stick it in, and then where the wire comes through the other side, pull it, bend it over and stick it back up into the base and secure it. And that's what I'm doing with my left hand underneath the table all the time. And it's just that you don't see it. So I often call this hand here the gynecology hand. It doesn't need to see what it's doing. Do you know that way? It feels its way around and it finds that wire. And I'm just looking here, there's absolutely tons of that Q-press. I'm probably not even going to use it all. So I'm just really looking for what I call a cop-on spot. So as I'm looking down on the base, I'm kind of saying to myself, another little bit here into the middle, or another little bit towards the outside. So anywhere that your eye is drawn to, that's where you need the piece. Because people are often saying, like, how many will I put in? It's not really a case of how many pieces, because some of these pieces are quite small, and some of them are quite chunky. So whenever my eye is drawn, and here at the school we call it the cop-on spot, and I kind of feel, oh God, I need a little piece here, or I need a little bit there, that's where I'm adding it in. So you can see the way I'm spinning it around on the edge of the table, as if the edge of the table was a turntable, and like where I need a little bit there, you see? So I'm just turning that around to me, that is close to my stomach, sticking the wire in, securing it. So again, I have some of the gold towards the outside, some of the gold towards the inside, and again, it's kind of decorating the base. So I'm using up all the bits that's left over because I have them wired, so I might as well use them. And I'm not making another gold one. If I was making another gold one, I could probably be a bit miserable with it. But for the likes of yourself, if you bought the bunch of it, you'd probably get 2 wreaths made out of the base. You know what I mean? Because remember, I didn't use all of the bunch. You know what I mean? There's tons of it left over. So I'm going to hold this up now just to let you see what it looks like with the Q-press in it. Now I'm going to add in the gold eucalyptus. So more or less the same technique. So just moving that all over close to me. And again, prodding in the wire, placing it, you know, kind of like on an angle, because that's the great thing. You see, I'm able to move it around. So place it where you want and then secure the wire underneath. So again, sometimes I'm going towards the outside of the actual base where the greenery is. Sometimes I go towards the middle area and sometimes I go towards the inside area. So it's anywhere that I kind of feel like I could do with a bit of gold, where there's maybe a little bit more green shown, and it's just to give me another texture. The one type was nice, you know that way, and you could just leave it the one variety of gold if you want to, but again, the 2 different varieties just makes it look a little bit more interesting. So it's a bit like when we're doing fresh flower arranging. We always talk about textures in your arrangements and different shapes. So immediately now, the shape of the eucalyptus, where it's that roundy leaf, and then the pointiness of the Q-press foliage, you know that way, we have completely different shapes and textures, and then along with the lovely spruce are the nobilis. And the great thing about this wreath, okay, every bit of it is naturally, natively grown is what I meant to say, as in, it's all from Ireland, it's all from the south of Ireland, from County Kerry. So again, it's a lovely present to give to somebody. And I suppose the gold doesn't make it very natural, do you know that way? But still, it's natural with a little bit of glitz. It's all locally grown, naturally grown.
Melissa is saying that she watched the free Christmas course and that she absolutely loved it.
Brilliant, Melissa, because I know you had difficulty logging into it there at the beginning. And so anybody that is watching, we do have a free Christmas candle arrangement. And again, like all of my videos, it's done step by step. And like the majority of my videos, you see the way I do them in live time. So you see everything that I'm doing, whether like if I'm struggling and I'm hitting a branch, you know that way, or I have to rewire something, or something won't go in. I'm just looking for cop-on spots here now. You see it all in live time. I don't believe in a Blue Peter approach to my videos. Here's one in the oven, and here's one that we did earlier. We don't do any of that with our demonstrations. So again, if something goes wrong, you'll see it go wrong, but you'll probably also see me work my way out of a hole, you know that way. And I don't believe, it hasn't happened yet anyway, I've never had to say, Deirdre, turn off the fucking camera, this is turning out with balls. I just work around it. And if it is turning out with a ball, sure, listen, we'll sort it out. So I've just one more piece after this one, and then I'm going to hold it up and just to let you see what the bunch of eucalyptus looks like going through that. Really happy with this so far. Now again, it's not going to be everybody's taste. It is very, very glitzy. So there it is with the gold eucalyptus and our gold cupress, and we're not finished. So next I'm moving on to the pine cones. Now this is going to work out very reasonable to make, okay? But there is a lot of labour involved. And again, you might say, God, that only took you X amount of time to make. But remember, I might be a little bit faster at the wiring than you will be. So when I'm placing in the pine cones, I like to place the pine cones that sometimes I have a pine cone to the outside and sometimes I have it towards the inside. And again, it makes my bases that little bit chunkier. I use more material by doing it that way, but it looks nicer and it looks more glamorous. Now this would be what I would class as a luxury wreath, okay? It would be a lot more expensive than your typical wreath, you know what I mean, that you would make for your door. But like, again, for somebody that wants something a little bit different. And when people are buying door wreaths and they're looking at them and they're kind of saying, oh, which one will I get? Always ask them, what colour is your whole door? Because this may not suit every colour whole door. But also ask them, what colour or what type are the ornaments on it? You know, like their knocker and their knob and the numbers on the door. Like, are they gold or brass or silver? You know, like, ask them sort of questions. And again, you can kind of visualise what might suit their door best. So like where I have silver accessories on my door, this would do absolutely nothing for my door.
It'd be gorgeous on a red door, wouldn't it?
It would be gorgeous on a big red
door
in them big Georgian houses.
Yeah.
Could see this working out really, really well. Now I'm not going to put a bow on this wreath, but you could. I just don't feel it needs it. And but like again, if you're watching there, bows are all in this year. Like, they're very fashionable. They're so much on trend. But if your customer wants a big gold luxury bow on it, absolutely give them what they want. Now, as I'm zigzagging the pine cones, I'm naturally putting more pine cones to the outside than I am to the inside, because Copon will tell you it's a bigger circle going around the outside. So them bags are supposed to have 20 cones in them, but I knew when I was wearing them up, I said there's more than 20 cones in them bags. So what I'm just doing there now to use them up, because I have them sprayed, is I'm just going back around again, and anywhere that I feel I can squeeze another pine cone in. And again, it's giving a lovely texture to the door wreath. Don't think I'm going to get much more in, and I've plenty on the inside. So again, a little bit of movement around there, just turning it up there just so that you can see it. And all that's in that is about 20 odd pine cones, bunch of dried dead eucalyptus sprayed gold, and I have a bunch of dried dead cupress also sprayed gold, and a fresh knobless base that's from Irish Green Guys if you're buying them in bulk, or O'Neill's Flowers in Carlingford if you're buying them in small quantities. Now, you're not going to see this red ribbon. This is just for hanging it. This is a fabric ribbon, but you can use any ribbon at all. So I'm just getting this long length and I'm folding it over in half. The reason why, just for strength, okay, this wreath is quite heavy, so I'm using like a double layer. At the back of the wreath, I'm going to fish this in between the frame and the greenery that you won't see it in the front. So I'm poking it through there. Yep, you can see it in the front, and there it is in the back. Do you see the way it's hooked around the frame? I'm just going to lie it on the table, get my two lengths nearly the same length. I'm going to tie a double knot, nice and tight. And then when I'm giving it to the customer, I can give it to them like that, you see, to carry. And then when they go home, they can tie it onto their gold knob or gold knocker, whatever they happen to have, tie it in a knot onto it, and then cut off the ribbons that's left over. You don't need the ribbons. And if they want to then go and buy like gold lights or white lights or warm lights, they can add some little lights into it. O'Neill's Flowers have a great value. I don't have them handy to me here now. You can get 5 packets of lights for €8. If you were watching one of the lives last week, I used 1 packet on the door wreath, just to give you an idea, the mileage. Like, they're quite short, okay? 2 would be a little bit luxurious looking. But again, you're getting 5 packets for €8. It's an absolute bargain. If anybody has any questions at all, put them in the comments. If you'd like that free candle arrangement video tutorial, put the word Christmas in the comments below. If there's anyone watching there and they're doing Christmas wreath workshops, like say Floristastic, in Waterford, put your details there. If you're selling DIY, make your own wreath kits at home, like Mitchell Flowers in Galway, put your comments, put your details below. If you're Mylands Garden Centre or McGath's Garden Centre and you're selling your wreath bases, put everything below. And if you're anywhere else or you're anyone else, you know, that way we're not gatekeepers. We're actually open to anybody to advertise, except Rolex watches, no Viagra, no sunglasses, no cheap handbags. None of that can be advertised, but anything to do with the flower business, you're absolutely more than welcome to advertise them underneath. So, hope you enjoyed that class. Remember, if you've missed any of the, what we're on the 8th today, actually it's Mr. K's birthday today, I'm just thinking. We didn't put up a post.
I did, yeah.
Oh, you did. Mr. K's birthday. He's 82. Anybody that followed us when we done the cowboy party, imagine that was 2 years ago. Like, years are just flying in. He's a big cowboy now, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, we're on now the 8th day of Christmas. So, if you've missed the previous 7 days, okay, pop over to our YouTube channel and you'll be able to watch them all. But again, join us on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube over the next 13 days, 12 days. We've lots more to show you. Thanks a million for joining. Don't forget to click share.